Back, America. I got another story, one that you might be interested in. I was at an institution called Madison Correctional Institute. It's like kind of like going in the Panhandle. That was one of the most dangerous institutions I've ever been in. The staff and administration had zero control of that institution. Zero. The inmates were stabbing each other like 2 or 3 at it every day. And I'm gonna tell you no lie, I was scared to death. Cause the police, they didn't give a damn, So one day I went to lunch. And so when the child hall's so wide open, you got people in there, there's gangbangers, you got people gunning under the table, masturbating at the women. I'm talking about this wild. I'm talking about in the child hall where you eat, that is wild. This was the worst prison I've ever been to. For security, for like anything. So the only thing that was good about that prison was plenty of drugs. Now I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It was plenty of drugs. Them women were bringing that shit up in there, and it was plenty of that shit in there. But for security and zero. But anyway, I was in the child hall, and I was sitting with these 3 dudes. And so one of the dudes knew the lady officer that was standing by. And so he called, I can't remember her name, he called her. He said, Miss, I'm just gonna say her name was Johnson. Miss Johnson, how you doing? So she came over there and they had a little conversation. Then I heard her say, some inmate kept messing with her, kept harassing her, doing something to her. So one of the dudes that was there, that was sitting down eating, this is what he said. He said, well, Miss Johnson, if somebody's bothering with you like that, you need to get slick, get smart, and have somebody else do it for you like me. He said, if you bring me 2 Rice Krispie treats, you won't have no more problems out of him. So when I heard that, my initial response was like, huh. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't believe that this dude just said something like this, that he would harm a person. I mean, you know, because they ain't doing no fighting in prison. They stabbing now. They're stabbing, hitting you in the head with locks. I'm talking about it's extremely violent. And so this dude is ready to do something like that to an inmate, another inmate who ain't did nothing to him, but just was messing with this lady that he happens to be talking to, and he's ready to harm this dude for 2 Rice Krispie treats.
What do you mean by talking to?
I mean, like conversating. I don't think they, you know, I don't know what they had going on, because I used to the institution was so violent, I ain't talk to nobody. I don't want to talk. I don't want to leave me alone. Just give me a joint and let me go on about my business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's plenty of drugs there now. Plenty. So I don't know whatever happened in that incident. It's so many people that was getting stabbed and airlifted out of there. I don't know if that really happened to that particular individual or not. But Madison CI was one of the worst prisons I had ever been in. Now it's turned into it's like what it's called what they call it?
Old folks prison?
No, they call it when you do good. You know what I'm saying? You have to do good. It'll come to me. But you had to be clean 2 years to get to that prison now. They're called
Okay, so it's like a rewards program.
Yes, that's what they are.
Right.
That's what they are. So that's what that prison is now. I remember one time that they have this compatibility thing where, like, if I got 5 years, my roommate got to have 5 years or 4 years or something in that area. He has to be my same height, age, but they don't really pay attention to that, but they try to adhere to that. They try to abide by that, but a lot of times they don't. So at Madison, like I told you, that was the worst institution I ever been at, because an inmate can take his belongings, his property. If he lived in G dorm, he can pack up all his shit and move to A dorm with nobody saying nothing. See, but you got to understand, every day it'd be a master roster count, and so obviously his name is not on this master roster count to be in the A dorm when he's assigned to G dorm, but they didn't even used to pay attention to that. All they do is count bodies. damn the name, them bodies add up. You can go anywhere on that. You say, man, I want to go to G-Dome and pick up all your stuff and go to G-Dome and find your empty bunk and go in there and live in there without no repercussions from the staff. That's how corrupt that institution was. So a dude moved from somewhere, and this motherfucker had a life sentence. I got at this point, I probably got maybe 9 months left. I don't want to be around him. He think different than me. He ain't never going home. I'm finna go. I mean, it's gonna take me 9 months, and his train of thought is totally different from mine. And so really, I'm really skeptical about him being in here because he's not assigned here anyway. But he ain't giving me no problem, but it's just that he's always into something out there on the, he got knives in the cell. You know what I'm saying? He done made knives. He got them here. I told him, say, listen, bro, if they come in here and shake down this cell and they find them knives, you're gonna be 21. So he said he would be 21, but they never came to ship the cell down or anything. So nothing ever came of that.
What's 21?
Grown. You're gonna own up to what you did with your knives. It ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? So this dude really made me uncomfortable by the amount of time he had. So I caught a captain one day. He was pretty cool, a black captain with a bald head. I can't remember his name. So I called him one day. I said, excuse me, sir. I called him by his name. I can't remember. I say, can I ask you a question? He said, what's up? I say, what is it? I said, man, I go home in like 9 months. I say, how is it that I am synonymous with an individual that has a life sentence? Why am I housed with an individual who has a life sentence and I got 9 months? He said, where are you housed at? And I told him. And so a couple of days later, I was coming from somewhere, the library or something. The next thing I know, they were calling my name. And the next thing I know, they took me, handcuffed me, and put me in confinement. And next thing, on the next bus smoking, I was gone. On the next, I'm not saying I wasn't down with what was going on as far as the institution running and stuff. It was just that I was like, by me speaking out, that was like, because it's obvious the staff and everybody know about this. They all know about it. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess they felt like I was like, I don't know. They put me on the bus, got me from around there, and they sent me. Where did they send me?
Was that good or bad?
Bad. It was good to get away from that violent institution.
Right.
It was bad because of why did you transfer me? Because I said something about you not, doing your duty. I'm saying that's a serious breach, bro. That's a serious breach. I live over here, but I can take my stuff without no permission from anyone and move way over there and go through security checks, master roster count, and you don't know that I'm in the wrong dorm? That's serious. And that's how they were doing. They were letting the inmates had complete control of that facility. That's just another story. I got a million more. I got a million more.
Yes, sir.